Good evening. My name is Fritz Erickson. I'm president here at Northern Michigan University, and it really is a great pleasure to be able to welcome you to parent orientation. We sure do wish we were doing all of this in person, but I think you'll gain a lot tonight. Our intent is to go over any number of things and then answer a long list of questions that we've received in advance from folks. One of the great things about Northern is that we're really committed to the simple idea of student success. And for us, student success means graduation. And I often tell students when you went through high school and someone said the goal was to go to college, they were really almost right. But the real goal is to graduate from college. And we are committed throughout the entire university. The culture of this place is very much about helping students get to graduation, because as much fun as we will have on freshman move-in day, we'll have that kind of fun and even more during commencement, 4 years from now or whatever the time is. That commitment, though, toward student success means that we need students to do a couple of three things, and they're really effectively three things a student needs to do to be successful at Northern. The first thing, and among the most important, is for students to be able to find a major for which they have a real passion. There's just no two ways about it, but college is a lot of work. There was lots of studying late night, lots of papers, and you meant to do the work last week and you didn't quite get to it. If you have a major for which you have a passion for, the work melts away because it is something that is fulfilling a real interest and a real passion. And so, you know, we have over 180 different majors. Students often come without knowing what their major is, and, you know, quite frankly, it's one of my favorite majors. When I'll ask a student what you're majoring in, and they will say, well, I'm majoring, I don't know what my major, I'm undecided. Well, undecided is a great major because it gives students the opportunity to explore all that there is out there. But finding that major is really an important thing. The second thing, key to being successful in graduating, is connecting with a faculty member and connecting with a staff member. We have faculty from among the most prestigious institutions, not only in the United States, but in the world. We have an incredibly dedicated and talented faculty. And when you ask them, why did you come to Northern? Because most have opportunities to go almost anywhere. And they'll almost always tell you the same two things. One, they come to Northern because they want the direct personal interaction that happens with students, particularly with undergraduates. It's why undergraduates get opportunities to work in research labs that are often reserved at most institutions for graduate and doctoral students. For example, our world-famous Brain Tumor Research Center really operates because we have all of these undergraduates, and it's the faculty that engage them with it. And you see that in really every program. Our faculty come here because of that connection with students. But they also come here because of the terrific lifestyle and unique lifestyle that we get to lead here in Marquette and in the Upper Peninsula. It is an extraordinarily friendly and engaging place. It is a place where people look out for one another and help one another. And, you know, I often say to my friends downstate and around the country, what defines Marquette and what defines Northern is if you slide off into a snowbank, before you can get out of your car, someone will have stopped to help you. That doesn't happen everywhere, but it happens all the time here. Not just because we have a lot of snow, but because of the culture of the place. having your students connect with a faculty member is among the most important things to do. And also connect with our incredibly dedicated staff. Our staff are here to carry those kinds of messages forward and support forward. And we value collectively that success. So encourage your sons and daughters to walk up to a faculty member, ask them where they're from, ask them what kind of research they do, what their interests are, and they will find that an incredibly rewarding experience. And the third key, and often among the most important, is get involved. Students graduate at much higher rates if they're involved with organizations. Find something that is exciting, that is energizing, that stretches your boundaries. Join the surfing club, which is kind of a strange thing to do in November when it's really cold, but the students have a terrific time and they connect with people from all walks of life, or join an academic club, or join a club athletic team. Any of those things are great. And if your students don't find a club they want to join, start one. It wasn't too long ago, a group of students came to me and said, we want to start a Sasquatch search club. I didn't ask what it was they were going to do, but they told me they were going to tromp around in the woods looking for Sasquatch. I don't know what they were going to do when they found him or her, but it was a great opportunity for connections, and that's really, really important. And when you call your sons and daughters up and ask them what they're doing, if they don't tell you that they're involved in a club or organization, press them, because the more they get involved, the better off they're going to be. With me tonight is Dean Chris Greer. Chris is responsible very much for the success of our students, and we're going to talk about any number of things. So why don't I kick it over to Chris to introduce herself.
Okay, thank you. I've been here for 20 years, which is the longest that I've been anywhere, and it's a very exciting place. We have lots of new programs and about student support and student retention. So your students, as Fritz said, will really be well taken care of. We really value them and we want them to be successful. I'm really happy that you joined us this evening. We've been receiving questions from you and we'll be answering them in just a bit. If you have a question that isn't covered, make sure that you email orientation, and you can expect an email response within a few days. Their email address, right there on the screen, orient@nmu.edu. You're getting ready to send your students off to college soon, and we hope you're talking to them about things that will make them successful. I have been you 4 times. They all survived. They all graduated. It took some longer than others, but they did it. I learned a lot as a parent. And one of the most important things that I learned was that it's really okay for students to be anxious or upset or angry or uncomfortable or sad at times. They need to learn what to do when things don't go well. They need to learn what resources to use when things aren't going well. It's important for you to start talking to your students about solving their own problems, dealing with situational anxiety and depression, taking responsibility for themselves, and learning from their mistakes. There are so many resources here for our students, all designed to help them be successful, all free. They really need to take advantage. If they don't know where to start, they can come to my office, the Dean of Students office in Hedgecock, and we will help them. If they talk to you about a problem and you don't know what to tell them, you can call us too. Call my office and we'll tell you what to tell them. You will look brilliant then. You can always send them to us, but sometimes it's good for them to hear it from 2 or 3 different people, the same advice. We're all here to help them, and we're here to help you. We welcome your calls and emails. We are happy to help, and you are not bothering us. Don't start the conversation with, "I'm sorry to bother you," because we will all say, "You're not bothering us." Our goal for tonight and for the series of modules that we've created for you is to help you get to know Northern so you feel comfortable leaving your students here in August. The purpose of this next part is to get you to start thinking about important issues. During our regular face-to-face orientation in the summers, so pre-COVID, the students take their first college quiz. We have the answers from 2019, that's the last summer we did it. The answers don't change very much from year to year though, so we're going with these. We're going to put the questions up on the screen, and you choose the answer in your head that you think the majority of incoming students would choose. Then I'll let you know what they actually chose. Okay, so the question, there you go. Question number 1. Members of this freshman class will each spend how much per week on entertainment and incidental expenses during their first semester in college? So what do you think? And the students chose B, $20. That seems thrifty, I will say, but you know, we can hope that that's all they're going to spend. We did have a number of students, though, almost 18%, who said 40 or more than 40. So you might want to talk to your sons and daughters and see where they land there, because they might need a part-time job. Okay, second question. My roommate and I will be most likely to disagree about. Okay, so it's slightly different wording, sorry, with the question, but roommates will be most likely to disagree about. The students said how early or late they sleep. It is often the cleanliness level of their room, which we all laugh about because we've seen their rooms and we don't understand when they talk about a cleanliness level. But the latest group was worried that their schedules weren't going to sync and that they might have a problem with their roommate because of how early or late they need to get to bed, etc. Okay, number 3, the amount of alcohol, if any, they plan to consume. Yeah, the students say 0 drinks a week, which the place erupts when we have parents in the ballroom. They think that that's really funny. But at any given time, about 30% of our students say that they haven't had a drink in 30 days, and that includes 21 and up. So there are lots of things to do here if a student doesn't want to drink. No activities on campus involve alcohol. So any of the programming that we are doing does not involve alcohol. So if your student does not want to drink, they will be in company of others. They are not going to be the only student. Number 4, the percentage of entering freshmen who have declared an academic major or plan to declare a major during this orientation session. 75%. It's actually, I believe it was 88% of the students said that they were going to choose a major. Now, 75% of them, though, will change their major. Sometimes before orientation is over, they change their major, and that's okay. As Fritz said, undeclared is a fine major to have your first year. We'd rather have your students do that than be in a major that they don't like, that they hate, and then somehow feel that they need to stick with. So don't worry. One of my kids was here. He changed his major 3 times his first year of college. So I just took a deep breath, and he was fine. He graduated. Okay, number 5. And I should say he graduated in 4 years with 3 different majors his first year, so it can be done. Okay, number 5. Freshmen intend to contact their parents how many times during their first semester? The students said 2 or 3 times per week. Now, the research shows, though, that because of texting, it's actually gone up to 10 to 15 times a day. Because they'll just text you to say, how are you doing? Or they'll text you and say, I just left class and I'm walking back to the hall. They'll text you to say, I had a great dinner. That, who knows what they're going to text you about. So actually the contact is probably going to be way more than 2 or 3 times a week, at least for first-year students. So you might want to be prepared for that and, have the conversation. I'd really like to hear from you once a day, once a week, whatever your expectations are. You should probably let them know. Okay, number 6. Freshmen plan to study how many hours per week during their first semester of enrollment? The students said B, 16 to 25 hours. Now, you may be, cheering right now because that's probably more than they ever studied in high school. But that is not enough to be successful in college. The formula is 2 hours for every credit that they're carrying. And if they're in hard science, it could be 4 or 5 hours. So they need to do the math. If they're in 16 credits, they really should be studying 32 hours a week. And I know that seems like a lot, but that is an important message to give to your students. It is vitally important that they know this is going to take time and effort. And if they could shoot for 32 hours, the next thing I hear is they won't be able to do anything else but study. We do this great chart during orientation where we fill in 32 hours of study time, 8 hours to sleep, 3 hours a day for meals, time to shower. We put all this stuff in. Students still have 44 hours of usable time every week. They can join a student organization. They can get a part-time job. It is not as bad as it sounds. What you need to remind them of is that they are not in school from 7:30 to 2:30 or 3 like they were in high school. It's a different type of a schedule, and they'll get used to that, but they do need to have studying on their mind. So 32 hours. Okay, number 7. Which of the following subjects is likely to cause the greatest amount of disagreement between freshmen and their parents? The students said money. Sometimes it's grades and studying, but the last few years it has been money. Students are very conscious of the fact that college costs a lot. And they know they're taking out loans, and so they often feel guilty if they get a pizza. So what's important about our dining plans is that students can go with a constant meal pass. Students can go in and out of the dining room as often as they want all day long and have snacks. So that kind of takes some of the pressure off with having extra money for pizza. But just so you know, that's what they're worried about, that you're going to be mad at them for spending money. Okay, number 8. The grade point average that members of the freshman class predict they will earn for the fall semester. The majority said A, hope springs eternal, right? They think they're all going to get A's. That's fantastic, and we want them to try to get A's. The first year average for our students is over a 3.0, so over a B average is what our first year students do. So striving for A's will get them A's and B pluses, so that's a good goal to have. Close behind was B, but okay, number 9. Members of the freshman class expect to earn their college degrees in. The majority said 8 semesters, and that was almost 70% said 8 semesters. So I know you're cheering right now. We all want them to graduate in 8 semesters. It's absolutely possible for them to graduate in 8 semesters. The national average, though, is 5.5 years. So it's not unheard of for students to take an extra semester, an extra year. But they can stay on track if they really work at it, and it's entirely possible. I told you my son, 3 different majors. He studied abroad, he never took a summer class, and he graduated in 4 years. So you just kind of they have to stay on top of their schedule and their planning, and it's absolutely doable. So we're all for 4 years and out. Okay, and number 10. Which of the following is of greatest concern to this freshman class as it anticipates its first year of college? The students said all of the above. So they're worried about all of this. They're worried about finding new friends, being homesick, unable to keep up with classes, affording the cost of attending. All of this is normal things for them to worry about. None of this is strange. Being homesick is absolutely normal. What we try to do is normalize all of these worries so that students don't think they're the only one. That's what we don't want them to think, is that they're the only student out there who is having a roommate problem or who is homesick. It absolutely is not the case, but these are all good things to talk about. Those 4 concerns are really good things to talk about. So we hope you're starting to think about the tough issues that may be coming and writing down some talking points for the next month with your student. It's not even a month now. Oh my goodness. 2 weeks till they move in?
2 weeks.
Yikes. That just made me twitch a little bit. Okay, so we're ready to start answering the questions that you have sent in. So we're just going to start. I'm going to start reading questions off to Fritz, and he's going to start giving you the straight scoop. Okay, all right, here we go. Is NMU requiring the COVID vaccine?
As you may imagine, we've spent a lot of time, particularly over the last several days, talking about that. We know that there are a number of universities that have moved to require vaccines for all students. One of the great things about the state of Michigan is we have 15 wonderful public institutions, all in very different kinds of locations. And for us, we've navigated COVID very, very well. Throughout the entire COVID process, our positivity rates were very low. The number of students we had in quarantines and isolations was low. Our medical staff is absolutely top-notch. At this moment in time, we are not requiring vaccines. However, get vaccinated, because getting vaccinated is an enormously important part of the whole process. As of right now, 64% of our population, our students, faculty, staff, are vaccinated, and we expect that number to rise pretty dramatically because incoming freshmen, even though we've counted them in the total population, haven't had a full chance to be vaccinated. We'll be offering vaccine clinics during move-in, so there's really no reason for people to say they didn't have the opportunity to get vaccinated. So we're not requiring vaccines at this point in time, but you know, this is a very fluid situation. We'll see what the future brings. But as long as the positivity rate stays as low as it is, if you look at the CDC maps of where the Delta variant is, you'll see that Marquette County is incredibly low at this point. But you know, things can change.
Does my student have to wear a mask on campus?
So at this point in time, we're not requiring masks. However, there are a couple of things we will be doing. First of all, we really missed the opportunity last year during freshman move-in day for parents to enjoy the experience of helping their sons and daughters move into the dorms. It's a wonderful family tradition to have. And so we're going to allow parents back into the dorms, but we will require masks for the first 3 days that we move in, or 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then done Sunday. We haven't made the decision at this point in time whether we will require masks to start the semester, but to be straight up with you, I think there's a pretty good chance we'll require them in some form or fashion. We want to find the right balanced approach that works for us to do that. And I would expect that we may require masks for classrooms and labs to begin the semester and see where we're at.
Okay. Will there be any mass screening tests during fall semester?
So last year, one of the things that we did, we were one of the very few universities that tested everybody coming into the campus. In reviewing the process with our medical staff, and since we're having a higher and higher vaccine rate and who's eligible to give vaccines, we determined that we would not do the mass screening that we did before, but we would focus all of our efforts on symptomatic testing and certain subset populations that we feel that we need to be able to test along the way.
Okay, will we be notified if there's a rise in COVID cases? And that kind of goes along with the next question, Fritz, which is where can we get information about COVID regulations on campus?
One of the things we did that was just widely recognized throughout COVID is we were very transparent in terms of the number of cases we had, where we were, how many people were in quarantine, how many people were in isolation, and we put up a dashboard at nmu.edu/Safe on Campus. So if you go to our website, you'll see the link for Safe on Campus. If you go to that website, you will be able to monitor every day, and that we updated that several times a day so that we could keep everyone very current on whether or not we were having an outbreak, where it was, we had on campus, off campus. There's a lot of very useful information on that dashboard. So we encourage anybody and everybody to follow that and to see how we're doing.
Okay, let's leave COVID. Let's go to advising. Okay, so can my students suggest the classes they would like instead of waiting for their advisor to recommend?
Do you want to take that one?
Take that one. So what we do is we work with the academic departments, and they recommend what courses a student who has chosen a major takes. And so there really isn't much wiggle room in there, because let's say you're a biology major. If you don't take the courses, if the students don't take the courses suggested by the biology department, they could be behind. They could be behind in the curriculum. So is there wiggle room? A bit. If a student wants to switch out a general education course, we'll work with them on that. If they have AP credit coming in, of course we'll work with them on that. We aren't making any student that has AP credit take a course over again. So there is a bit of wiggle room, but the students really need to talk to their academic advisor about that. Can my student change their schedule that was given to them at orientation? Maybe. Again, that kind of goes back to talking with their advisor. If they have a really good reason because something just doesn't work for them, they're happy to look at it and see if they can make any changes. Our courses are filling up though at this point, so it's not really easy to swap courses out unless there's a really compelling reason to do so. How often will my student meet with their advisor? Let me do that one too. Okay.
Please.
All right, yep. Okay, so really that depends. We ask the students, or first-year students, to meet with their advisors in a group setting. So everybody that's assigned to an advisor has a group meeting, and then we ask them to meet with their advisor once more in the first semester. But a student can talk to their advisor as much as they want. So there is no limit on the number of times that they can call or walk in or make an appointment. And the students are learning how to do that through what we call ESP, which is our new student management system. And so they'll know how to do all this. They learned this at orientation, but they can see the advisor as much as they want.
Let me add to that as well. Students will have advisors, but they also have access to their faculty. So talk to faculty. Yeah. It's a great thing to do, to stay after class, to go and chat with a faculty member, talk about career options and why this major is what it is and what they can do with it, or schedule time. All our faculty have office hours and are very accessible and available. So
and they love it.
Then they love it.
Yeah.
And so take advantage of that.
Yeah. Okay, will my student's advisor change if they change their major? Not in their first year. In their first year, they are assigned to what we call a centralized advisor, so those advisors don't change. They follow the students from orientation through March, and March is registration for the next fall semester. So they do not change. At that point in April, early April, if they have declared a major, then they are moved to a department advisor. And so it's a little different than some schools where they're assigned right away to a faculty member. What we're moving towards what we call student support specialists in every department. So they will be the advising experts for that second, third, fourth year. And then the faculty are freed up to mentor the students and spend time with them, as Fritz just described, talking about careers, talking about the program, that kind of thing. So we're freeing them up so that they can concentrate on what they really like to do with their students. First year, same advisor, we have found that to be really helpful because they don't have to switch if they change majors. Okay, and will I have access to my students' class schedule, grades, and advisor? Only if your student signs a release for you to have access. Once a student starts school, so on the first day of class, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act goes into effect. And I'm not going to go into great depth on FERPA because I did spend a lot of time on that in the presentation that I have on your YouTube channel. So you can go and you can look at that. But the bottom line is that when the first day of class comes about, then we are very limited as to what we can talk to parents about, unless your son or daughter signs a release. Okay, dining.
Dining.
Yeah.
Great dining.
Yeah, great food. My student has food allergies. Will they have safe options in the dining hall?
Absolutely.
Yep.
We have a wonderful facility. We've redone our major dining hall, Northern Lights Dining, and part of that is we have the room for students with allergies. What we ask, though, is that they meet with our dietitian. So that gets them access into that particular room. We want to make sure that they're safe in that room and that other students who use that. So if your student has an allergy, talk to our resident nutritionist. It will go a long way to making sure that they're as safe as possible.
Yeah, he's very happy to meet with students, and he takes them on a tour of this room and tells them how it all works, and he's great to work with. So make sure that if you're concerned that your student does go and talk to him. Are guests allowed to eat on campus?
Yes,
Yes.
we encourage that.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So if you're here, go into the dining hall with your sons and daughters. It's a great experience. I do it all the time. I go over and you just pay right at the door, and you go in, and I enjoy it, going around just talking to the different students and finding out how they're doing it. And besides, the food is absolutely terrific.
It is good. Your students, if they get certain meal plan options, they include guest passes. So if they have friends come up to visit or you come up to visit, they can treat you to a meal in the dining hall. So they'll have all the information on that, and they'll know how to do it. Can parents pay and eat with their student at the dining hall on move-in day?
Yes, I don't think.
Yeah, Thursday's our big move-in day.
Yeah.
So Thursday, Dining Services does a cookout, and everybody can eat. It's outside, hopefully.
Yep.
We like it when it's outside. But anyway, and anybody's welcome. We have faculty that go. It's great. So yes, if you're moving in on Thursday, if you're moving in on Friday, you can certainly go into the dining hall. There will be guest passes, that kind of thing. You can just pay at the door. But absolutely, You can go in and eat. Okay, housing. So there are some very specific housing questions. When can students move into their dorm? I just kind of said that. Thursday. What's the date? What date is that? Wait, 16th, 17th, 19th. It's the 19th. So the 19th is the first day of the contract. So that's the first day. We really do encourage students to come in on that Thursday or Friday. And because there are lots of activities on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so if it's the first chance they have to make friends, get to know the campus. So we really encourage Thursday and Friday, if at all possible.
Well, and there are so many activities that are scheduled that day, and we're very excited. This year we're getting to have a Ferris wheel on campus.
Yeah, we're having a carnival.
So, come and enjoy it. And that's all part of our effort to make sure the students start making friends, to connect with one another. And so come that Thursday, come that Friday, because the other thing that happens is we have a wonderful residence hall staff. And when I talk to the residence hall staff and ask them what they do, they talk all the time about making sure students are connected. And so they have events for like an entire floor, or as we call it, a house. They'll take them out and do things. And so come be part of that. It really lays a wonderful foundation for the school year.
Okay, when will my student find out who their roommate is? I know that. Actually, the emails went out yesterday. So they should have that information. The name may not be right in the email for privacy, but they can go into their portal and they can, if they've selected a room, and they can find out who their roommate is. So, and if they have any problem doing that, they should just call the housing office. And the housing office will help them figure it out.
And it's always a good idea to connect with your roommate before you come, so you don't bring 2 refrigerators. And 2 65-inch TVs.
And 2 futons. And 2, yeah. It's not that big. No. The room's not that big. Okay, can my student have a loft? I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, yes.
Yes, that is the short answer. In the email that they got yesterday, the information should be in there. So but they cannot build their own lofts for liability reasons, so they can order a loft from us, and we build it. It's available on a first come, first served basis, and it's $70 per academic year for a loft. So don't bring your own loft kit. We see wood all over the place and you can't use it. So just order one if that's what you'd like. And then we try to have all the lofts up before the students move in, but there could be a situation where we got their order late, but everything will be up the first week, by the end of the first week. Okay. What is provided in the dorm rooms for students? Will there be a desk and mattress? Yes, we do have desks. I actually have a list, so I shouldn't try to remember. Okay, each room comes with 2 extra long twin beds. So for sheets, remember, twin extra long, 8 dresser drawers, 2 desks, 2 wastebaskets, 1 recycle bin, 1 shower curtain, and window treatments. So that's what's in the rooms. So it's equipped. It's equipped. Let's see. Do the residence halls have a curfew?
No.
No.
Would I like to have curfews? That's a different question.
Sometimes.
No, we did. That's a vestige of when I went to college. But no longer do we have curfews.
No curfews. Can students have friends stay in their dorm room overnight?
Yes.
Yes, they can. There actually is a process for that. So no one can stay longer than 3 nights. And the roommates and suite mates have to sign off on it, on the form, and the RD has to get the form. That's just so we don't have problems with roommates and suite mates. So we're not going to say no, but the roommates might not feel comfortable, that kind of thing. So the next question was about addresses. You should have that in that email that went. And then will there be cleaning supplies provided for students for their dorm rooms? Not really, but there are things at the desk that can be used, such as vacuums and mops, but any type of spray bottle cleaners that the students want, that kind of thing, they have to provide themselves. And Drano is a no-no. So if there's a problem with the drain, they need to contact the staff and have that taken care of and not deal with it on their own. Okay, what kind of security measures are in place in the dorms?
So we take security very, very seriously at Northern. In fact, in our dorms, all the exterior doors are locked all the time, and students have I don't know if they call it a fob. Or that they swipe to get in, and that's all very good, so that controls it. We want students to keep their doors to their rooms closed and locked. Don't wander all over the place with the door propped open. Those are just basic safety considerations and so forth. And you know, if you're swiping in to get in the dorm, don't let a bunch of people that you don't know in. We also have security cameras everywhere. And I have to admit, I chuckle a little bit when some students think that they can get away with something because there's no security cameras around. There's security cameras on this campus almost everywhere. Almost everywhere.
They are not in the hallways where the rooms are, but everywhere else in the residence halls. It's just not right there because, you know, for privacy reasons, we don't have them right in every hallway. But where the elevators are, for instance, there is a camera, but not down the hallways. That's right. But it's very safe. Okay, financial aid. When is tuition due each semester? You know that?
No, I don't know that. Yeah. I'm sorry, I should know that.
No, that's okay. It's approximately 2 weeks before the semester starts. So, for instance, we start on August 23rd. The tuition's due August 13th. So, you know, we're somewhere in the 10 to 14 day window there for tuition payment. And then there was a question about a payment plan. Again, a lot of this information are in the modules that we recorded for you, but we do have payment plans. Students learned how to do it. It doesn't mean that they were listening to us. But by August 13th, if they want to be on a payment plan, they need to go into the student portal and sign up for a payment plan. And then when will you know how much financial aid your student qualifies for? You should know that now, unless there was a problem, unless we didn't get all the documents that we needed to process the aid. So if you haven't heard, you should probably call the financial aid office and just see what's up. I know I talked with a mom today and she was wondering why her daughter hadn't heard, and when I checked with financial aid, they had asked for a document and they didn't receive it. So that type of thing can just be held up. So feel free to call the financial aid office and they'll give you information if they can. Okay, this is one of your favorite questions. Do first year students need a car?
So the word is need here.
Yeah.
First of all students, first year students, anybody are welcome to have a car on campus. And we have ample parking. It may not be right next to the building, but we do. But the word need, in my opinion, is they really don't need a car. Unless they have an off-campus job, or, I mean, there has to be some reason with that. If your student brings a car to campus, the thing I recommend highly that the most important thing they bring with that car is a shovel. Because during the winter, when it snows, the first couple snows, it's fine to go dig your car out, but it's been my experience that students decide they don't like digging it out, and then for weeks will let that car sit. And in fact, there have been a couple of winters where we've had to go around and put orange cones on top of snow piles to let the snowplow drivers know that there was a car underneath there, so they didn't hit that snow pile. The thing is, if someone brings a car, they end up becoming the Uber driver for the residence hall floor. We've seen that time and time again. And they run down and said, so and so has a car. We'll all go to Meijer, or we'll all go to Target or something, and everyone piles in and they get to drive them. So. Be judicious about it. My experience is students don't really need a car. We have a bus on Fridays that runs out to Meijer and to Target and to Walmart if they need to go to the store and so forth.
Is there local transportation for students without cars?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, our students can use any of the MarkTran, that's the local bus public transportation system. They don't even have to pay for it.
Oh,
they just use their card, swipe in and get on it, and they're doing a lot of door-to-door stuff right now. So the students who've needed that, it's turned out really well for them.
Yeah. Is there bus service downstate? Yes, there is.
There is.
Yeah, it's not what I would call regular. It's not every day, but students can get on the bus. It's not too far from campus, the bus station, but there is a bus. It takes forever, though, I'm just warning you. There's also one that goes to Chicago from up here, so it's possible. And that one's faster than the one that goes to Detroit.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make as many stops.
Oh,
that's
okay.
why.
Let me, one additional comment about that. One of the things we've learned is that students are really good about connecting with other students from their hometowns, and they often do ride shares.
Yeah.
And they have these systems set up so, if I need to go down, I'm
Anywhere.
Need to go back to Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
There's usually someone that's from Kalamazoo that they can hook a ride with.
I used to have a rideshare board on my website. We took it down because students weren't using it. They were finding their rides on Facebook. So we don't even have that anymore.
Yeah.
Students were like, okay, that's very old-fashioned. So no, thank you. Okay, does Marquette have Uber or Lyft?
I think it's, this is what I've heard, because I've not used it. I've heard we have one Uber driver named Dave.
Yes, we do have Dave.
So people will call Dave and get an Uber ride. There's also a very affordable taxi service.
Yes. And I did hear we have Lyft now.
Oh, we do.
But I
cannot
cannot swear to that. But I did hear that, and I think it's students are doing it.
Oh, are they?
Providing the rides.
I should try this sometime.
Yeah. My daughter has a late class that ends in the evening. How safe is it for her walking on campus late at night by herself?
This is one of the safest campuses anywhere in the country. We're consistently in the top 20 of safe campus and safe communities. That said, I really encourage students not to walk across campus alone by themselves late at night. It's just not a prudent thing to be able to do. Why put yourself in that situation? And one of the services we do offer out of public safety is a student can just simply call public safety and say, gee, I'd like to have someone, I'm walking from the dome late at night back over to the residence halls, and they will send someone over to walk a student back rather than walk alone. So, it's really not a prudent thing to do, even though we are a very safe campus.
Great. Can my student bring their bike?
Absolutely. We have great bike racks, too.
Do we have winter storage? Yes.
Yes.
We do, in the residence halls, a basement of one of the halls. So the students will hear about that. We usually put them in around Thanksgiving. The only problem is that they can't get them out until a certain date. So they can't go in and out with their bikes. Once it's in, it's in. But we do offer winter storage.
Yes. Although we do have a lot of students that have fat tire bikes.
Yeah, and they keep them
this
out all year.
This is a huge thing here. People riding fat tire bikes all winter long.
My student hunts and would like to bring their gun with them. What is the protocol for having a firearm?
So we do allow firearms on campus, but in a very controlled way. And the way it works is if you bring a firearm or bow, anything that shoots a projectile, the requirement is that it be stored over with public safety, and we have a vault that's open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So if a student, we have a lot of students that like to hunt, what they do is they bring their hunting rifles up, they check them in, and when they go hunting, they go over there, check them out, and then the public safety will wait for them to return that. Now here's the key. If a firearm is brought on campus in a car, brought in a dorm, the likelihood of us suspending and expelling the student is very, very high. We have as close to a no tolerance policy for that. We're one of the few campuses that welcomes firearms. It's part of the culture here in the UP, but we absolutely require that students follow the rules and directions. And so if you know, there's just not a lot of exceptions, and you can't say, oops, I forgot something in my dorm room and I'm going to leave my rifle in the car while I run in. You may be looking for another college to go to if you do that.
Because we use their IDs as a way to track it. So if a student checked out their gun, that's flagged on their ID, and then if they use their ID to get into a dorm before they return the weapon, that's how we know.
That's right.
So, how will my student hear about school closures, such as snow days?
Snow days? We don't have snow days.
Snow days.
No, we do have the occasional snow day. Actually, we're more likely to have a cold day. We said, I think it's 35 below, sustained wind chill. If it's that, we'll close because it's just not safe for students either coming in or going from campus or even walking across campus. We have a wonderful text alert system. And so if we do call a snow day, then that text alert system goes off and students look at their phones and get a big smile on their face and go right back to sleep. And so
parents can also sign up for that text alert so you can know if they're in class or they're not in class.
Well, and the text alert is for much more than snow days. It's for anything that we need to get a message out on campus. If there's an event, an emergency, something needed to happen, all of that goes out. We have very elaborate protocols for active shooters. We live in a time where we have to be prepared. All of that is there. We have the ability to talk to virtually all of our buildings at the same time on campus. So I really do encourage parents, sign up for the text alert system. It's just a good peace of mind to know that you'll be able to see if anything happens.
We also have what we call the Burr line, which is 906-227-BRRR, where the students can call and find out about closures too for snow. What mental health resources exist on campus?
We have mental health is a really important issue for us. And we have extensive counseling services on our campus, free of charge. Our students, if they're having any issues at all, we really encourage them to go to the counseling center. Those services are directly available for it, as well as a number of services that are available in the community. For that. And so we take a very proactive approach to it. We have numbers of programs, whether it's the Mind Your Health program that's designed for promoting good, solid mental health issues and addressing problems that students have before those problems escalate.
We also have crisis after hours services. So students will get this information, but there's a number that they can call. And I say after hours because our counseling center is open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So outside of that time frame, students can call Health Advocate and speak to a counselor immediately. So very helpful for our students. Let's see, there are just a few quick questions. Is there a bank on campus? Yes. Is there a post office on campus? Yes. What is Family Weekend?
Great fun.
Great fun.
Great
October
fun.
8 to 10 this year, I found out.
Great.
Yep.
I'm so looking forward. Of course, we couldn't do that last year, and it's just a wonderful event to come up and share with your student and learn about campus and go to athletic events and eat in the dining hall, all the kinds of things. It really is great fun.
So you'll get information from Fritz's office and from my office about it. It'll be in his newsletter to parents, Parent Partnership newsletter. We'll be sending information out, so watch for that. The one thing, I always say this in the summer to the parents, that you shouldn't be worried if you can't make it. Not every family comes, okay? So don't worry about it. But if you can come, it's great. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of activities for the families. Let's see. Will my student be sent a book list before the start of the semester? No. But here's a little tip. If the professor has required books, students can go onto the Barnes & Noble website, which is our bookstore, and see the list of books for each course. They can also order the books. I think they're still accepting orders, but that information will be on the website too. If they are, that's convenient for students because they can just go to the customer service desk and pick up their bag of books. But I'm not quite sure where we are with that. Can my student work on campus?
Yes. We have terrific job opportunities on campus. Everything from the dining services and those to working in offices. There's just a myriad of work opportunities, and working on campus can be a great thing. It's a great way to connect with people. It's a great way to connect in an academic area. In my office, I have several students that work there. They're just absolutely delightful to have, and it's been a great learning experience for them, as well as providing energy in our office for us.
It's nice for them to work on campus because we understand the schedule.
Yes.
So we totally understand midterms is stressful, finals is stressful. We get all that. We feed our students a lot. We bring snacks. But as far as finding a job on campus, we have a career services office. The software that they use is called Handshake. And we are having an online job fair for on-campus jobs on August 9th. So they can go to the Career Services website and see all the information, how they sign up for that job fair. So August 9th for that. Let's see, where can I find a schedule with events for the school year?
We have a calendar, an online calendar.
Yep.
So you go to the webpage and look for the calendar, and you can get an event, and almost everything is posted there. Mm-hmm. We also do a real good job of putting posters up and around and sending emails. One of the challenges we have from time to time is students don't always read their emails. We'd like them to read their emails because there's just so many different activities and opportunities for them. And so encourage your students to, read the emails we send them.
Okay, what is work study? Does my student automatically get a position on campus, or do they need to apply?
Well, work study is a federally funded program for students to work, and there's a process that I think they go through financial aid to be able to get that particular. But whether you're a work study student or a non-work study student, there are plenty of work opportunities on campus, and it's a great way to meet and connect with people.
They do need to apply. We don't tell them where they're going to be working if they have work study. So again, Career Services has listings of on-campus jobs, so they can look at that and see what's available. Okay, I think maybe we've done it. I'm looking at the list, and here's one. What are the programs and/or facilities available for students to exercise?
Oh, we have
That's
wonderful exercise. All of our students have access to the PEEP, the Physical Education Instruction Facility. And wonderful workout facilities, swimming pools. Of course, we have the dome, largest indoor structure for, where we play football and soccer and all kinds of stuff in there. So ample opportunities. And as part of the residence halls, we built a wonderful set of, the equipment, the workouts that is for students only. And so only students are allowed to go in there, and we think that that's worked out really well for them.
They love it. It's
And
cool.
you can also get access to all of this equipment for outdoor rec. You want to ride a fat tire bike? Check out a fat tire bike, or cross-country skis, or go over and climb the wall. And if you're really good, then come skiing with me, because I love to ski in the winter, and I love to ski with students, and so there'll be lots of opportunities for skiing.
Okay, now I think we've done it.
Great.
Okay, so thanks for joining us this evening. I hope you enjoyed it and are feeling a little better about leaving your student with us in August. If you have additional questions, you can submit them again to the orientation email. Someone on staff will respond as soon as possible. Feel free to email me, call me. I'm absolutely fine with that. So I think we're done? Yes?
Yes.
Good? Okay, all right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.